Good morning, beautiful being, and welcome to my new phone. Yay! It is cold out here, so I'm just going to show you the day and then go inside because it's cold. But I want you to see what the day looks like because the sun will be out. The sun hasn't reached us here yet. This is the day. So, Mike, good morning. Welcome to my new phone. There's a whole lot of blue sky. And you can see that the sun is not quite over the hill yet. It is actually up, but there is this hill in the way, and so I don't get to see the sun. It's the solstice is the 21st of June, and we are kind of in solstice land now. The days are short, 6 weeks either side, so that's what it is. So you can see the sun is up. It's just not on my garden yet, and there it is. So I really just want to show you the world and see it all looks pretty cold here. And it is. I don't know what temperature it is, but I would guess single figures in degrees, degrees Celsius, not centigrade. If it was centigrade and it was single figures, everything would be white. So I'm going inside now, but I wanted to show you the day. There's not much that's flowering. We had a lot of rain last night and all the flowers got rained off the camellia. I was going to show you those. So, good morning, Andrew. Good morning, beautiful, beautiful beings. I'm going to close the thing that I need to take the fly screen off the back door now because it's too cold for flies. Okay, so marching into the lounge, shutting the doors. Why didn't I do this before I started? Never mind. Get the clock out of my pocket, put it somewhere I can see it. It's really nice to be with you on my new phone because I don't have to worry about it not working. Because, the other one is interesting. My plan my plan renewed yesterday. So it really is, the plan isn't monthly, it's actually 28 days. But from the point of view of my plan, it's been exactly 4 years on the old phone and now I'm on the new one. So anyway, this is just how it's all going today. I'm inside and it's cold. And I want to talk about disappointment and setback. I've got to line myself up here. Okay. So I have a dear friend who is going through a deep setback at the moment, a deep disappointment, challenge, whatever you want to call it, a deep, oh my God, I'm now very sad. And it doesn't matter why. Kylie, good morning, sunshine. So I decided I wanted to think about that because, the dark night of the soul, right? It happens. And it's not even shit. It's not about crap happening. It's not about shit coming down. It's really about we have experiences that they hurt. And depending on how we respond to them, they can stop us in our tracks. For a short time or a long time, or they can be our greatest teachers, one way and another. And it's not always about, oh, I'm awful, I needed this shit to happen. No, it's not about that. But somehow we create, we generate, we manifest these things. Oh, thank you, Mike. I'm sure I look brand new. You can see every wrinkle now. The camera's that much better. But I tell you, I feel like a new person today, and it's not really because I've got a new phone. It's because I've been changing so profoundly inside myself. Enough about that. That's a whole other story. So, disappointment, setback, loss, grief. Andrea, good morning. You're not one of those. It's just, now I know that's your little whatnot. See, I get the little circle up the top of your profile picture, but I don't necessarily know who it is. So it's lovely to have you joining us. So, and I thought, well, these things hurt, right? One way or another, they hurt. And I'm not really talking about trauma per se, although these things can feel and be traumatic because it can be a shock. When, something in your life that you thought was going to happen it's not even it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen the way that you thought it was going to happen. And that's the first thing I want to talk about is that we get all invested in something And the thoughts that we think about the expectation of something, it's like it's exciting, it's wonderful, or we really need it, we're really used to it, we're really accustomed to it, whatever it is, and then suddenly, relatively suddenly, it changes. And my God, it's like your world explodes, right? And I heard Dr. Joe Dispenza explain this, and at least it's his theory, and it makes an enormous amount of sense to me as to why, something changes and suddenly you've gone from hero to zero. What's going on? And if you think about this in the context of someone who's been in a long-term relationship and it's good, right? And then the partner dies. Never mind if it's bad. It's actually still the same. But let's be in the context of something that's positive and happy. And you're with that person, you've been with them for a long time. You've got a whole lot of neural nets in your brain that you are used to being able to remember or re-experience or recreate because that person is around. And they're part of your identity and how you feel good. I hope that makes sense. I mean, it's pretty logical. You see the person you love, you have a feeling of, I feel safe with them, I feel secure with them, all of these good things. And that's just because that person's around. Now, if that person suddenly vanishes, disappears off the face of the earth for whatever reason, suddenly you don't have the same external stimulus with which to fire those feelings and thoughts and feelings that made you feel a certain way. So that's a shock. Just speaking chemically, you don't get to fire those circuits, and in fact you fire a whole lot of other circuits about how sad it is that things have changed and I've lost this, and I notice the difference everywhere. Because why? Because you go to the place that you used to be with that person and you had coffee with them and your favourite snacks together, and you go there and they're not there, so you're reminded of their absence and you fire a different neural net with different chemistry, and so it's like we neurologically and biochemically have lost a self. It's literally a death of the self that knew that person or was excited about that future or was certain that it was going to be like this. Judith! Oh, Judith, it might sound like intuition, but trust me, I learned this all from Dr. Joe. He is the guy, right? He is the man. He taught me all this. It makes so much sense because this is science. Now, admittedly, he said this is his theory, but it makes a lot of sense to me. And I can extrapolate this from what I know, which is really not very much, but what I know about the brain and how it works. And so you just can't fire up the same neural nets and have the same chemical experience. And chemicals are emotions, and emotions are the body having the experience. And so it's not available anymore, and so you feel this terrible loss. The more neural nets and enriched experience you have in your brain that you suddenly can't have anymore, the more you feel really changed inside yourself. And right there, okay, so you're going to have an emotional experience of loss because you can't think, oh my God, that's going to happen now. I'm so excited about it or whatever. Suddenly it's like, oh my God, it's not going to happen now and I feel really sad about it. So the self that was all tied up in those neural nets and those feelings and the things that you used to do and the places you used to go and the people around and all of that, that self has died. Literally, it is a death. And so the body experiences a withdrawal from those chemicals. I hope this makes sense. It does make sense to me. I just feel like there's all kinds of things I'm not explaining about it, but also I've only got 20 minutes. So that is what the shock and the disappointment and the loss and the challenge really is to us neurologically and chemically. And also that, of course, affects how our cells express themselves. And you have people they're perfectly healthy, they're having a great life, they have a trauma, and 6 months later they come down with some, serious disease because they got so stressed that they pushed all the genetic buttons for stress and disease because they got into the stress response and they couldn't get out of it. And that happens. And this is the key thing. When you have a loss or a disappointment or a challenge or a setback, you're going to react. And that's going to happen because of what I just talked about. Thinking and feeling is going to change and your body's going to say, where the hell are my happy chemicals? And, we feel this. The big question is, how long are you going to react? How long? Because you can allow a painful disappointment or a loss to anchor you into the experience of how much you've lost and how sad it is and how impossible it is now for what you desire to happen. Or you can say, okay, I'm going to feel like shit for a while, or maybe not. Depends how good you are at changing your state. So, you can either stay locked in your past and get obsessed about the fact that this person let you down, or that thing didn't happen, or that person's gone, or whatever. Or you can recognize you've got a process to go through in yourself, and old self is gone, it's dying. And hang on a moment. What's the thing I really desire again? The reason why I've been doing what I've been doing? The what you're doing and why you're doing it. Because you're going to have the feelings, right? But you have a choice about whether the feelings swallow you up and bury you, or whether you learn to manage the feelings and very willfully, because you're not going to feel like doing it at all, continue to remind yourself, hang on a minute, what am I doing? What was I doing? What was the whole purpose for this anyway? Why? Hang on. What is it I really want? What is my future that I desire? Because whatever the challenge or the setback or the loss is, you are perceiving it as some kind of final end of the world. And I mean, this is okay. This happens. We all have this experience of thinking we're on track to something, and then, the world appears to come to an end. It's like all the gates shut, the lights go out, and I'm just in a corner screaming because I'm on my own, and I feel so separate from what I desire. I feel so utterly separate from what I desire. And as long as we keep telling ourselves the stories of how impossible it is and how we don't know, that's how it's going to be. It is a very willful and sheer, screw this, I'm just not going to let it define me anymore. You really have to decide if you're going to continue to let your past drive you into the future, or if you're going to think, okay, I just want to feel happy again. I was doing that thing that I lost actually because I wanted to feel good about myself. So it didn't work. It didn't work for the last 50 times. I'm absolutely convinced it's never going to work again, and it's impossible. But if I stay buried in that emotion, nothing's going to change. So what did I want again? What did I want to be? What did I want to experience? A feeling of well-being, a feeling of wholeness, a feeling that I don't need to worry about my family anymore, a feeling that my future is assured, that, whatever it is. When your dream feels like it's, buried 6 feet under, and I actually know what that feels like, Lisa, believe it or not because I've been to that great depths that I sort of get the understanding that, you've had a long, 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 long dark night of the soul, right? But I've been constantly left thinking, what the hell do I really want to do in life? And I didn't know for the very longest time. It really has taken me 54 years to figure it out. And it was always kind of empty, and and I have been a serial failure since I started this game, since I took a big leap and, launched in the telesummer business in 2014, and that was a dismal flop. And then I was sort of blogging and emailing, thinking, I'll do that. And I invested money in search engine optimization with a bunch of cowboys, and that was just a complete waste of time. That was another loss. It was expensive from my point of view. Small money for some people, well, huge money for me because I was so stressed about money. Drew a line at the end of 2016, said, fuck this, I'm not doing this anymore. Sat in the void for 6 months, a mentor turned up, and then I started building a coaching business. But that didn't really work either. Has anyone noticed? It hasn't grown, but I'm really good at doing these lives, and I'm really good at helping people change. Doing lives, for crying out loud. So, serial failure. But all of those failures have got me closer to realizing that this is something in the middle of what it is that I'm actually really good at doing, and I am about the mass market, and you know what? I'm about people who can't afford to pay for it. How the hell does that mean that my bills get paid? I don't really know, But it's starting to come because I'm finally figuring it out after many failures and many losses and many, oh, feck, I can't do that. This is impossible. So I do know what this feels like. I really do. The why and the what? I don't know. But fundamentally, we always do something because we want to feel a certain way. So it doesn't matter what the what is or the how. Really, it doesn't. We always know how we want to feel. So in the dark night of the soul, the what and the why is really, I want to feel X. And at that point, you then have a decision to make about whether you're going to continue to invest your energy and your attention, and we talked about that yesterday, in the thing that happened yesterday that was so painful, or the thing that happened 2 weeks ago that was so awful, or the thing that happened 5 years ago. It doesn't matter. You have a choice about whether you put your attention there or you go into a place that is unknown to you and therefore very difficult. Because remember, the body knows how to be miserable. It knows how to be uncomfortable. It knows how to be sick. And it knows how to be lackful. It knows how to do what you're used to doing and being. And the only way you're going to have a different experience is to go somewhere else with your thinking and then your feeling. Talked about that this week too. But it's not going to feel good because your body's addicted to how it's addicted to being. It really is. We are addicts. And oh my God, I've just recognized this week more of that in me. Oh my heavens. It's too much to explain. And that's why I feel like today is a new day, because I feel different. And yesterday, I did something that I have never felt more certain about anything in my entire life. And that, given what it was, is a real surprise to me. I did the thing and I thought, my God, I don't feel any doubt. I don't feel any wiggle about this. I just absolutely calm. And it surprised me, and it still surprises me. But I mean, I'm a different person. I just, the synaptic changes and the chemical changes, they're happening so fast at the moment because I'm connecting in the unified field. I'm downloading new information. I'm getting rid of my old limits. So, this is how you deal with challenge, trauma, anything. We always have this choice to let the old self die and not go back to it. And the pain is going to go. It's interesting because I'm just sort of picking little bits out of what you've written, Kylie. It's so eloquent, and I'll look at it properly later because it doesn't fit on the screen. That's fine. We do have to move through the pain, but increasingly I understand that I don't need to move through the pain by sort of feeling it and analysing it. I just need to put my attention on who I want to be, and anything that isn't that is going to go away. And it will release as tears or sorrow or rage or whatever it is. But anything that isn't who I'm choosing to be now is going to leave. Because it doesn't fit anymore. And that's what I know about moving through pain. Because we can get mired in it and sort of analysing it, wondering, I don't think that's what you're doing. But just in case anybody thinks that's what moving through pain means, no, it's not about this diving in. I'm sorry, I don't like diving deep into the shadow to analyse it all. I just want to become the light. It's not about denying my darkness, because it's there. But I understand now that the more I become who I want to be, and the more I live and determine to think and feel and act, Maybright, good morning, as that person, everything in me that is not that is going to come up and, be right in my face for me to move through. And that's the only thing I need to do with moving through things. I've got to keep my attention in the thoughts and the feelings of my future, even when the things that I can see with my eyes and hear with my ears and feel with and taste and touch and smell with my senses say, it's impossible, it's never going to happen, you're a victim to your circumstances, you cannot change this, it's, feel bad. Because it's always been like this, it's never going to change, you can't do this, it's impossible, fundamentally, you're not worthy. Well, screw that. Because I know that's not true. In short, yesterday, I said a really big no. And that's all I'm going to say about it. A very heartfelt, oh my God, I have to do this no. Like, this is life or death no. I've never felt more certain in my entire life. But if I'd said it the day before, I wouldn't have felt like that. I'm changing so rapidly. It's a relief. Even as it's like, oh my God, I did that. And I know it's right. I know that I know that I know that I know. But oh my God, that didn't used to be who I was. Oh, hugs. Hugs to everybody who was going through deep challenges. Because this to me is the only way that I get through my own stuff. I have to know how I want to feel. If nothing else, I have to know how I want to feel. And I've forgotten to tell you about the how-to now that I've got almost no time left. The how-to, we talk about a lot. And I need to go back round and talk about it again, but I think we started there. In fact, we've been there all week. You have to get into your heart. Breathe in and out of your heart. Put your attention there. Immediately doing that immediately increases communication between your heart and your brain. And when that works better, you work better. And you have to get good at creating elevated emotions even when everything around you says you need to feel like shit. And the other thing you have to do is you have to get good at opening your focus so that your busy, noisy, chaotic, crazy brain quiets down and becomes calm, silent, and you can hold one thought. Okay, so you want to feel safe, happy, and accepted. Pick one. Safe is really good, Lisa, because if you feel safe, you're going to feel happy. If you feel safe, you're going to feel accepted. Just work with safety. I did that for so long. So to give you a practical application of that, put your awareness in your heart, breathe in and out safety. Give yourself safety in there. And you know the exercise we do where we grow the size of the breaths? It's like you're blowing up a balloon inside your heart and you can let it sink back in and go, oh, I'm feeling more safe. You generate it in there. And if you can do that for 5 minutes, set a timer for 5 minutes to just yank your awareness back to your heart and think, safety, what does safety feel like? Do that for 5 minutes and then set a timer on your phone to go off in 3 hours and do it again. And set a timer on your phone to go off in 3 hours and do it again. I guarantee if you do that for a week, you will know what safety feels like. It will feel wooden and weird and why the hell did she tell me to do this? It's stupid. And then you're going to start getting it. It's a skill, remember? This is how it works. I'm the same as you. I got to do it. I got to do this. Yeah, yesterday was hard. That's another long story. It was just physically hard for me, but I self-regulated. This is what we have to do. Thank you so much for sharing with me. It's Thursday. I can't believe it. I know where this week's gone. It's been amazing. And I have a new phone. I'm so excited. I don't have to have any concerns that it's going to go on me. It was very close, I tell you. Under the wire like Indiana Jones with his hat, Phew, I've just made it. Yeah, pain is going to release. God, when I first started opening my heart, there was so much pain. It's part of the journey. So if you cry, Lisa Louise, that's okay. Understand that your heart's starting to work for you and open. Don't be worried. Just stay with it and keep generating the feeling. I'm way over time. Big love, beautiful beings. Thank you so much for sharing with me. We've got lots more to talk about tomorrow. Until then, big hugs. Bye-bye.